Warning, this is a family-friendly radio. Children of all ages are welcome to participate.
This is my grandpa's geocaching talk show.
This podcast is a proud member of the Tech Podcast Network. If it's tech, it's here. Listen to other great podcasts at www.techpodcast.com.
Hiker James After Cache is sponsored by Cacheface.social. Like to meet new friends, share your photos, tell stories about your caching adventures? Go to Cacheface.social. You might be surprised that some of your friends are already there waiting for you. So try it out today. It's free and it always will be. That's www.cacheface.social. See you there.
And now for our latest news.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Hiker James After Cache. This is episode 8 today. So we have made it through 4 weeks. 8 weeks. 8 weeks. Where'd I get the 4? Well, anyway, we have a couple stories today about our geocaching adventures this weekend. Crazy Critter 1966 and we went out looking for I believe it was 5 caches, but it wasn't a very lucky weekend because we only come up with 2. It was in a park, and it was like 12 miles from home, and there was a lot of activity going on. There was soccer games, baseball games, different kind of things going on, barbecue, swimming pool, birthdays. So just about everywhere we went there was a lot of muggles, and we couldn't spend a whole lot of time looking. But we ended up going to one at a cemetery, Canal Theater. So it was clear at the end of the cemetery. It's a pretty good sized place. And we drove all the way to the end, which I've been there before, but I've never went all the way to the end of it. And so when we got there, there was this tunnel. And it's called the Canal Feeder, and it's kind of like where a bike trail starts. So there's an old railroad trestle that goes through there at the beginning of the bike trail, and the hint was from darkness into the light. So the only bad thing about trying to find this cache was the tunnel was straight, or curved. Well, the tunnel was curved, but the bike trail and everything, it depends on what time of day you're up there as to where the daylight begins. So after you go through the tunnel and towards the daylight, you lose your GPS signal in the tunnel. And so when you get to the other side, you have to wait till it comes back up to find out how far you went past it. So there we were, about 60 feet away from it, and so we started walking back, and we went to where would have been into the daylight at the time we was there. And the coordinates, of course, was off like 24 feet, so that could have made it either side of the bike trail. And between the both of us, we searched, each one of us searched one side. and the coordinates was bouncing around so bad that we really didn't have much time left because the daylight was going away. So anyway, we looked and searched for about a half an hour, and we couldn't find that one. But it's only about a mile and a half from where I work, so it's going to be another trip that I'm going to make one of these days, and that'll get me there about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So if nothing else, I can follow the daylight until I find it. But anyway, I know some people that have found it, and maybe I can get a better hint or clue for that cache. Another one was in a park, and that one was called Mangled Monster. And we parked where the GPS told us that it was like 300 feet away, and we started at the trail. And I figured, well, there was two trails. One was a paved and the other one was dirt. But the more I walked toward the dirt trail, the more I was on the coordinates. So we started walking, and it was all uphill. It was really steep, and it was pretty nice out and warm. So we finally made it to the top, and we started walking on top there for a little bit, and the GPS threw me off and said it was at the bottom of this hill. So we walked a little bit, and as we started down the hill, I seen a little pavilion, and I said, well, we're going to go down here and look, because that's where the GPS is taking me. So after we got down to the bottom of the hill, it said it was another 200 or 300 feet from where we was, and I thought, well, there's a better place to park to get us closer to that. So we walked back on the bottom of the hill back to the car, and we drove across a little pond. They have a little lake-sized pond there that were a lot of people there fishing. So we got to the other side, and we started walking towards the direction to where we had quit from the top of the hill. And then it started showing that it was pretty much to the north of us, and we found a trail there that was going pretty much uphill, but not quite as steep as the last one. And we started up that hill, and we come to the GZ. Now, I don't want to give all this away, but it was a large tree, and it said I was I think 15 feet away from it, and I was standing right next to the tree. So as I walked around the tree, it came down to 0 on the GZ again. Now this tree was full of holes. It was full of little nooks and crannies, and it was just a mangled monster tree is what it was. And we got to looking around, and at the bottom there was like a little kind of a dried up little ravine where the water run down into the little pond or lake, and I started getting into the mud. But I looked in there, so I found it, and there was a big tree that fell down there. So we sat down and took us a break and signed a log, and we put a travel bug in it, and when one of my travel fleas on it, and we were on our way. So the next one was interesting because it was called Dead Men Tell No Lies. I believe that's the way it had it set up there. Tell no stories or whatever. So when we got to that one, we was a little bit surprised because there was probably 5 acres of fenced in grass, and they kept it mowed down real nice, and it was all fenced in, and there was one huge tombstone in the middle of this area. And so we get out of the car, and there's houses all around. And we walked up towards the gate, and the GPS was telling us it was in there at about 60, 70 feet from it. So we didn't look around, we didn't hesitate or anything. We opened up this gate and just walked right down through the catty-cornered through this little cemetery plot. And there was a couple trees there that we was looking around in. I was looking at the fence too. And Crazy Critter saw the cache was hanging on the fence in the far corner of the plot. So that was kind of nice. We found that fairly easy. And we went and got the log sheet out. Didn't have any room for a TB. We probably could have put one in there with just something small on it, but we had some larger things on our travel bugs that we didn't want to cram in there, so we just didn't leave anything to that one. The rest of them, they're all DNFs, so we were pretty wore out after doing the one at the park there with the big hill. And so we had a few of them that we had found before that we was going to place our travel bugs in. By the time we got back toward home, it was getting kind of dark. I think it was around 8 o'clock. So we didn't do anything with that. And we did try to find one that was called Troop 1910 Trail. And we searched around that one for about a half an hour also. And then we gave up on that. And we were looking for a gallon-sized container. And we didn't have any luck at all. So after we come back out onto the trail, I happened to look down and I was bleeding all over my arm. I got a good one. I must have got a sharp branch or something hang up on my arm, but when you're out geocaching, you don't notice these painful accidents that you have. But I thought, wow, that really looks bad. And I guess where our first aid kit was, it was back in the car. We didn't have one with us, so we walked back to the car. And by the time we got back to the car, I done had some blood on my t-shirt, and I hope that comes out. But I took one of those Clorox wipes that we had in our first aid kit, and I wiped my arm off real good. And it just, it looks bad, but it's not. And so, I mean, it was up on my forearm, and I had blood down on my wrist and across the top of my arm and my hand, and it really looked worse than what it was, but it didn't hurt. I mean, I don't understand why. I guess because of the excitement and everything, trying to find this, you just don't notice things like that. But anyway, I'm all right. I'm not wounded bad enough to. I didn't even have to put a Band-Aid on it, because after I wiped it down and everything, it was fine. It just looks bad. Of course, I get that every time we go out geocaching. I get tore up with the bushes and with the stickers, with the thorns, with the branches. But that's the fun. That's the fun part of geocaching. And some of you might not think so, but it really is. Let's see, what else can we do here? Okay, let's. What are you doing about the 7 souvenirs of August? Now, we haven't really been trying to get any. Just something that we don't think that we can accomplish in a month, because we don't have the time. But I do have the Explorer, which is a traditional cache, and Crazy Critter 1966 has the Explorer and the Puzzler because she found a puzzle cache last weekend. I'd like to see more of them on my page, but there's some of them on there that there's like the CITO event and the event cache. We'd have to travel quite a ways to find something like that. A virtual cache, I know where one is, but they have it locked up. I mean, it's a long story behind that, but you can't get into it to find that one. So it's probably going to be archived before long. The mystery cache, that I could probably get one of those, but mostly I've gotten all of them in this area. So, like I said, we'll have to drive farther to find something like that. And maybe next weekend we might consider doing that. Trying to get more of the 7 souvenirs of August, because I know we're not going to get them all, so that's why I'm not too anxious about getting any of them. And so that's where we are on that one. And if we look a little farther into some of the news that we have on opencaching.us, if you go to blog.opencaching.us, you'll find that they are having some contests, and that they have reached some prizes from different people. And it said the sponsors, they have 12 sponsors counting themselves on this. And looks like there's some pretty nice prizes out there. They have a Magellan Explorers GPC. Let me start that one over. A Magellan Explorers GC GPS unit from Terra Caching. And they've got a Sport 2 satellite tracker from Open Caching North America, the administrator, Dudley Grunt. Excuse me, I'm not reading too good. It's morning here. It's like almost not even 6 o'clock in the morning yet, and I'm trying to do this and read this stuff. So they have a Cache Me If You Can geocaching board game from DPH Games. And all these things here, most of them, you can click on it and it'll take you to their sites, and you can see what they look like. They have 3 premium memberships from Munzie.com and 3 virtual packages from Munzie.com, a $30 gift certificate to the Open Caching North America swag store from the OCNA administrators, prize pack valued at $20 from gxproxy.com. There's a whole list of things here. There's lots more, and it says that the prizes are worth over $600 in total that they have from different sponsors on this contest. Check it out. Go up there and see what that contest is about, and see if it's not too late to enter. So I think it's going to run till the middle of August, if I'm not wrong. And that's at blog.opencaching.us, and see what's going on with them. Okay, and on cacheface.social, the worldwide website for geocachers, they're moving along really well, and there's new members every day. It seems like there's at least 5 or 6 people each day joining this group, or this website, which is more of a group of people that really enjoy their geocaching experiences, and they sign up for this, and it's free, and we'd like to see you on there. That's cacheface.social. join up and see if somebody on there you might know. You never know. There's people from all over the world, from the United States to South Africa. There are people from just about everywhere. UK, Germany, and just look that over and join it and check it out. And it only takes about maybe less than 5 minutes to sign up and become a member. So there you go. Let's see you there. And don't forget that if anybody has a story that they want told about their geocaching adventures for the week or weekend, send me an email at radiotalkshow2013@gmail.com, or go to speakpipe.com/hikerjames and leave a recording. And it's a 90-second recording, which if you talk a little faster than what I do, you can say quite a bit in that minute and a half. But if you need more time, send that what you got and then send another one to continue with your story. And that either one of them, you can do it any time, any hour of the day. It doesn't matter what city, state, country that you're in. Let us know what you've been doing out there, and we'll put it on the air. And if you want the audio ran on the air with your voice, let us know. If not, let us know at the end of that audio that you would rather not have your voice on air, and we will read what you have spoken to us. All right. Let's see. We've got about half of our time gone here, so let me check and see what else we've got. Okay, this is an interesting article that I have, and it is from West Midlands Police, and that's over in the UK. And police join global geocaching craze and hide treasure in Sandwell. And it says it's the latest outdoor craze across the globe, and now neighborhood police officers in Sandwell have taken to geocaching in a bid to spread useful crime prevention messages to their community. And they describe what the GPS and what geocaching is about, and they have a couple pictures in there of them hiding some caches, but they're doing this while they're on duty. The first geocache was a plastic box wrapped in brown tape, which they hid in some bushes at Victoria Park in Cape Hill. And it's already been found 6 times, with one person commenting on how pleased they were to see the police taking an interest in the pastime. And what they're doing is they want it to be fun, educational, and useful, and they're looking to hide more containers soon. And what they're doing is putting crime prevention things in it, and advice, and small trinkets for people to take and use, and like UV pens to mark their property, so if it's ever stolen and found, the property can be returned to its owner. So it's pretty interesting how the police department can make it something fun out of something, to where the people who are out geocaching will get this information from the police department. And so that was an interesting article there. So I've been reading about Georgia state parks and historic site geo tours and the different things. I get to this on my Hiker James geocaching news, and if you want to find that, if you go to hikerjamestalkshow.com, you will see over on the right hand side, down towards the bottom, I believe it is, where it says Hiker James News and our geocaching news, and you click on that and it'll take you to my news, where you can read things as they pop up on there. There's all sorts of things. There's leisure geocaching news, and there's environment news. We have stories, education, and different things of that. And talks about different caches in different parts of the country and world, as in Australia territory, in Vermont in the United States, in New York, there in Alaska. They're just it's different stories about different caches in different places. So, like I say, if you go to my radio talk show, let's see what it's called, Hiker James Geocaching Talk Show, and you can find it there. And the address for that is, I believe, I'm pretty sure, I don't have my notes with me, but even my own, I've got so many different addresses to go to, I have to double check this one to make sure it's right. And that is right. HikerJamesTalkShow.com. There's other articles on there that be interesting to see and read about. And we also have a few advertisements on there. I also have a donation page that you can go to if you feel like you need to send a donation to help out with the show. Any amount would be appreciated. And if you go to donateaftercash.com, that will take you to my Midwest Ohio geocaching page, and right there at you will be looking right at a donate button, and you can click on that and use your PayPal to donate, or if you don't have a PayPal, you can also use any of the other cards that are listed there, your Visa, MasterCard, or whatever you have. It will take the credit or debit or whatever you have. And like I said, any amount is appreciated to help out with this show so that we can air it each week. Alright, let's see what else we can find here for the next 10 or 12, 15 minutes, what we have left. Okay, and in other places where you can listen to this show, if you're not able to get on this particular page, we are automatically directed to Facebook, Twitter, SoundCloud, Tumblr, and YouTube. And I also carry the YouTube up to cacheface.social for those up there to have easy access to listening to my show. And if you check all those out, I'm sure you'll find it somewhere on there. Twitter is Hiker James, and Facebook is Hiker James, and SoundCloud, Tumblr, and YouTube is Hiker James. Except for YouTube, you have to search Hiker James 1, the number 1, and find my page there. And like I said, they automatically go there after the show. And we were doing a show called Hiker James Geocaching Talk Show on Blogspot Radio, and because of the convenience and the ease of being able to record better, we came here to Spreaker.com, and it's a lot easier because I can pre-record everything to make that a more family-friendly radio. And so the other one had call-in, where you could the listener could call in and say whatever he wanted, but we had some callers that would call in and say whatever they wanted, and when it's a live show. And so we did away with that because we had to delete a couple of shows. I had a few problems with that program also, and some of it was on my end. Most of it was on my end with the phone lines and different things that by the time you get connected into the studio with all your equipment and everything, that it just wasn't working out right for me. And so this show I can actually do from my phone, and if I get caught out somewhere and can't get back to my studio with it, I can connect into the studio from my phone and have the show from there. I'd like to hear from someone this week, and let us know who you are, your geocaching name, where you're from, and just a little bit about what you did this week as far as your geocaching adventures, and make it interesting. I'm interested in where people are when they hear this show, and so that would be appreciated. Later on, I'm going to add a phone number to where you can actually call me if you have a phone that will access to my number from wherever you are. I know a lot of people from around the world that can't do that, but if you're in the United States and you have a decent phone plan, you can call a number, and I can record our conversation from there and then upload it to the station. So we're just not really ready yet. We're getting this thing going a little bit better before I do that, because I have certain hours that I cannot answer the phone. So there you go. Because I do work. I've not retired yet, but this end of this year I will be retired, and we'll be able to take these phone calls a little bit longer span than what I got set up for right now. So stay tuned and listen in for when we do have this phone number for you to call in to record your conversation with me. Be kind of like putting you right into the studio with me. And so I think that would be a lot of fun, because and then, if it's something that if it doesn't work out right, and I can edit it to chop out some of the things that, to make it sound really good. And so keep that in mind, that later in the near future that's going to come out. Not necessarily going to be at the end of the year. It might be sooner than that. I just have to get all my information together as to how that was going to work. And don't forget, I also want to get that younger generation in here to listen to some of their adventures in geocaching. If you're old enough to talk, or if you're old enough to type a message, do it. If you're not, have your parents do it for you. So far, the age limit is from 4 to 70. I can't remember what it was. I told it last week on the show. But there was I think it was 72, 73 years old. And that's just what I've known of so far. So if you're older than that or younger than that, if you can get in to geocaching and you're able to tell me what's going on with your adventures, let me know. And now let's see, we got a little bit of time left. I'm going to bring up something here that I had on the other show, which is really nice for the kids. And this is in Florida, down there in Naples, Florida. Now the name of this is the Golisano Children's Museum of Naples, and it believes it is a privilege to share life with a child, and is committed to nurturing bonds among families and generations. They celebrate the natural curiosity of children by offering an educational, dynamic space that encourages exploration and discovery. The safe and wonderful place inspires children and families to have fun while learning together. And just to read a little bit about this, they have also on there a program that they do with the children as far as geocaching. and it explains a little bit here what geocaching is, and that they have a list of geocaches that are owned and maintained by the Come On Curious Kids, which Come On is the name of the museum. The shortcut for the museum name. Galisano Museum of Naples, and they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They have 5 geocaches that they go out and maintain, and let the kids go out and find them. They are supervised. They have a school bus driver that picks them up and takes them out to the locations, and then takes them back to the museum. And it explains what would a cache look like, and it's interesting to know that there are other people out there in different businesses that are doing the geocaching. I know there's a lot of businesses that are allowing geocaches to be hidden on their property, and they let the staff know that it's there. So if they see anybody walking around suspiciously in the area of the geocache, to not call the police. So it's a good thing, because it draws in customers even, if there's one in a local restaurant or in a local bakery or something like that, sure, what's the chances that the person's going to be hungry when they get done geocaching, and that's their spot that they're going to sit down and have a meal. And a couple of weeks ago, I had been to the Midwest GeoBash 2014 up in Wauseon, Ohio, and I had a travel bug on my windshield, and I never paid no attention, to it because it's there, and I've had it there for a couple of years. But I was surprised when I went and checked on my email, where I'd gotten all the information from geocaching.com, where people had logged different things. And when I was sitting in my car just resting or something, I'd see people drive by and they'd stop and take a picture of my car. And so, okay, well, they're taking a picture of my travel bug. But I never realized how many people got the number off of that travel bug and posted it that they had discovered it. It was amazing. People from everywhere, different states, different parts of the state, and they really surprised me as how many people there were that actually went and wrote down them numbers, or took. A lot of them just pull up in the car and they'll take a picture of it. They'll zoom in on it, and that way they don't have to get out and get back in. They don't have to walk all the way through the GeoBash. And and it's interesting to see. I had a friend of mine. He found out that I had a bug on my car, which he got the information off of it, but he told a couple of his friends about it. And the next day, he said, "Did you see us out there by your car last night?" And I said, "No." I said, "What time were you out there?" "Oh, it was about 11 o'clock at night." They had walked over from his house with a flashlight, and they were standing there writing down the numbers on my travel bug. And, it depends, I guess, on where you live. If you see somebody out there looking around your car with a flashlight, you'd get a little worried what they're doing. But in the town that I'm in, if they're in the front of my car looking at the windshield, I know what they're doing. Now, if they're on the side of the car where the gas tank is, I'd get a little concerned. But it's just depends on where you're from and how you trust your neighborhood. All right, let's see what else we can talk about here for the next 8 minutes. I have been looking at my graph chart on Hiker James After Cash on Spreaker.com on the statistics, And I'm really happy with the way that it is growing each week. It almost looks like it's just growing. We've had 50. Let's see. Let me check this out here a little bit better, because I don't really know for sure how many I had. But as of today, this morning, last week's show, there were 58 listeners, which I think is doing good. And because last week it was 51, and the week before that it was 44. So, it's gradually going up on the listeners for the show. I have 7 followers. If you go to Hiker James, if you go to aftercash.com, bring you up to the page that has my show on the bottom of it. There you can play, or you can download it, you can share it. But there is a share button, or I think yours will have a follow button. And you can click that follow button, and you'll get an email each week, let you know that the show is being aired, and you can listen in. It has your different thing. I'm not sure yet what it shows on the other side of my page, because I'm signed in here as myself. So, but there is 772 plays and 7 followers, with the highest amount of 58, which was last Sunday. So it's doing good, and I hope to see that number continue to raise, and that would be good. Okay, we've got about 3 minutes left, so we're going to wrap this up for this week. And like I said, you got all the information you need to get a hold of me. And we will like to hear from everyone this week or weekend, and let us know how you're doing with your geocaching adventures. So we're going to close this for now, and we will talk to you later. And until then, have a safe and happy week, and keep on caching.